Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Bando Moe Savadana Mate. Bando Moe Savadana Mate. Bando Moe Savadana Mate. Bando Moe Savadana Mate. Jara Prasare Bai E Baba Toriya Jai. Jara Prasare Bai E Baba Toriya Jai. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoite. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoite. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya. Arana Koriho Mani Asha. Arana Koriho Mani Asha. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttamagati. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttamagati. Je prasare pure sarva asha. Je prasare pure sarva asha. Chakurana dilaje janme janme Prabhu se. Chakurana dilaje Chakuran dilaje janme janme Prabhu se. Chakuran dilaje janme janme प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान रे प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान रे प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान रे प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान रे प्रकाशित प्रेमा भक्ति जहा होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेमा भक्ति जहा होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेदगाय जहाराचा रितो वेदगाय जहाराचा वेदगाय जहाराचा रितो वेदगाय जहाराचा रितो प्रेमा भक्ति जहा होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेमा भक्ति होते श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अर्हमा जनरा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अर्हमा जनरा बंधु लोकनाथ लोके राजीवाना लोकनाथ लोके राजीवाना लोकनाथ लोके राजीवाना हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पराचय हा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पराचय एवे जासा गुशुक्रिबो वाना एवे जासा गुशुक्रिबो एवे जासा गुशुक्रिबो वाना एवे जासा गुशुक्रिबो वाना जय प्रभु पर 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 नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवारी पश्चारे शतारिणे Veshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivijayakacharya Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Vibhuti Founder Acharya His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajikacharya Shatar Sadashishimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Thakur Ki Jai. Anand Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shridhar Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunrar Kunagiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Srimad Tulsi Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Shri Gurudharma Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada's Transcendental Books Distribution Ki Jai. Brihat Mridanga Ki Jai. Shri Paramakarntai Gaur Chandra Ki Jai. Samvir Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Tai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembly of devotees. All glories to the assembly of devotees. All glories to the assembly of devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
The lotus feet or spiritual master are the only way we can attain pure devotion service. I bow to lotus feet with his away and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his feet, creation, dull diary. Open like darkness eyes, filling my heart with transcendental knowledge. He, my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic pray my sins. My ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his authority. O spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, the Lord of the master of the devotees. O master, be merciful on us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread out to the worlds. Jai.
Srimad Tulsi Devi Maharani Ki.
Vrindaye Tulsi Devi Aye Priyaye Keshavascha Vishnu Bhakti Pare Devi Satyavate Namo Namaha. Vrindaye Tulsi Devi Aye Priyaye Keshavascha Vishnu Bhakti Pare Devi Satyavate Namo Namaha. Vrindaye Tulsi Devi Aye Priyaye Keshavascha Vishnu Bhakti Pare Devi Satyavate Namo Namaha. Tulsi Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Namo Namaha. Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namaha. Radha Krishna Seva Pavo He Abhilasi. ये तुम्हारा शरणा लो तारा वंचा पूर्ण हो ये तुम्हारा কৃপা করে করো তারে বৃন্দাবনবাসী মোরে অবিলাস বিলাস কুঞ্জ দিও বাস নয়নে হিরব সারা যুগলা রূপরাশি নিবেদনদারো সখী অনুগত করো সেবারে কর দিয়ে করনে যদাসি दीना कृष्ण दासी को ये जीना मोरा हो श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमी सराये नवासी श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमी सराये नवासी कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्तरिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ते परेक्षणा परे परे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्तरिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ते परेक्षणा परे परे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्तरिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ते परेक्षणा परे परे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi. Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. तुलसी देवी महारानी की जय। वृंदाए तुलसी देवी आए, प्रियाय केशवस्य च, विष्णु भक्ति परे देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। वृंदाए तुलसी देवी आए, प्रियाय केशवस्य च, विष्णु भक्ति परे देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। वृंदाए तुलसी देवी आए, प्रियाय केशवस्य च, विष्णु भक्ति परे देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। तुलसी देवी महारानी की जय। O Tulsi, beloved of Krishna, I bow down before you again and again. My desire is to obtain the service of Sri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you has his wishes fulfilled. Bestowing your mercy upon him, you make him a resident of Vrindavan. My desire is that you also grant me a resident in the pleasure groves of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Thus, within my vision, I will always behold the beautiful pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me the follower of the Kahwal damsels of Braj. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maid servant. This very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna prays, may I always swim in the love of Sri Radha and Govinda. Tulsi Devi Maharani ki jai.
We're doing one bhajan. So this is very famous Vaishnava bhajan by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So I'll read the translation first. The translation says, Lord Gauranga is calling. Wake up, sleeping souls, wake up, sleeping souls. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the world of birth and death. I have descended just to save you. Other than myself, You have no friend in this world. I have brought the medicine that will destroy the disease of illusion from which you are suffering. Take this Maha Mantra. Take this Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I fall at the Lord's feet, having taken this Maha Mantra. Says Jeev Jago, Gaura Chanda Bol. Jeev Jago, Gaura Chanda Bole. Jeev Jago, Gaura Chanda Bole. Kota nidra jao maya pisachi rakole. Kota nidra jao maya pisachi rakole. Bajibo boliya eshe samsara bitare. Bajibo boliya eshe samsara bitare. Bajibo boliya eshe samsara bitare.
Bajibo boliya eshe samsara bitare.
Boliya rohile tumi avidyara bhare.
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 Tomare loite ami hoino avatara.
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 Ami bina bhandu ara ke ache tomara.
Ami bina bandhu ara ke ache tomara.
Ami bina bhandu ara ke ache tomara.
Ami bina bandhu ara ke ache tomara.
Enechi ashore maya না সে ভালো লাগে
এনেছে ঔষধি মায়া নাশিবার লাগি
এনেছে ঔষধে মায়া না সে ভালো লাগে
এনেছে ঔষধি মায়া নাশিবার লাগি
হরে নাম মহামন্ত্র লাও তুমি মাগে
হরে নাম মহামন্ত্র লাও তুমি মাগি
হরে নাম মহামন্ত্র লাও তুমি মাগে
হরে নাম মহামন্ত্র লাও তুমি মাগি
ভক্তি বিনোরা প্রভু চরণে পারিয়া
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 সে হরে নাম মন্ত্র লইল মাগিয়া
সে হরি নাম মন্ত্র লইল মাগিয়া
সে হরে নাম মন্ত্র লইল মাগিয়া
সে হরি নাম মন্ত্র লইল মাগিয়া
জীব জাগো গৌরা চন্দ ভোলে
জাগো জাগো গৌরা চাঁদ ভোলে
জীব জাগো গৌরা চন্দ ভোলে
জাগো জাগো গৌরা চাঁদ ভোলে
কোথা নিদ্রা যাও মায়া পিশাচিরা কোলে
কোথা নিদ্রা যাও মায়া পিশাচির কোলে
কোথা নিদ্রা যাও মায়া পিশাচির কোলে
কোথা নিদ্রা যাও মায়া পিশাচির কোলে
হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Jaya Paramakaruna, Jaya Nitai Gaurachandra, Jaya Paramakaruna, Jaya Nitai Gaurachandra.
Jaya Parama Karuna, Nitai Gaura Chandra, Jaya Parama Karuna, Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra.
Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram.
Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So we're doing Jairat Madhav prayer, then you'll be hearing a little from His Grace Rajarshi Prabhu. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadhari Jaya Giri Varadhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadhari Jaya Giri Varadhari
Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana
Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana
Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana
Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari
Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya
Jaya
Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja
Bihari. Hare Krishna. So we would like to take this opportunity and welcome all the devotees who are here for our Sunday Love Feast. and also for those of you who are joining online. So we'll be continuing this morning by be hearing a presentation by His Grace Rajarshi Prabhu. So Prabhuji is well known across the Caribbean as for his outstanding service over the years in the form of teaching, preaching, sharing the knowledge of Krishna consciousness with all of us. Of course, for different reasons, he may not be able to travel as often as before, but still we are fortunate that we can still hear from him, even though he is all the way in Trinidad. So this morning we have invited Prabhu to be here and share with us some of his realizations, especially now that we're very soon we'll be observing the advent of Bhagavad Gita, Gita Jayanti. So as you all know, the Bhagavad Gita is in the line of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada would have emphasized so much about Bhagavad Gita that if we can understand this one book and try to live by the principles, the teachings that is outlined there, then we can definitely rest assured that we'll be able to be or perfect our lives, we'll be able to be successful in going back home, back to Godhead. So that's why the advent of Bhagavad Gita is so special, and the book itself is not just an ordinary book, but it has so much that we all can benefit from. It has so much that we can share with others, that others' lives will become transformed. And we are not just saying this, but it's a living experience, or it's an experience where many devotees, if you ask them how they first came to Krishna consciousness, for many persons would relate that it is because they would have received a Bhagavad Gita from another devotee or from someone. So without any further ado, we would like to hear from His Grace Rajarshi Prabhu. So we can all welcome Prabhu in your usual way. We can loudly chant 3 Hari Bols. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Are you all hearing me okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
All right, I'll begin with Mangala Charana. Haumagyanate mirandasya gyananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam jena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Drati Shvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapara Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitangscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinar Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Brindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Yivacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaham. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, on the 3rd of December, we'll be observing Bhagavad Gita Jayanti. Now, as Sachisuta Prabhu said, Bhagavad Gita means a lot to us as devotees. But then we are trying to share Bhagavad Gita with the world. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita is undoubtedly the greatest wisdom known to man. And why is that so? It is just because it is the instructions given by the Supreme Lord himself. That's what distinguishes Bhagavad Gita from all other knowledge. They're just like people in this world, they may be trying to convey some knowledge. Somebody figure out this, figure out that, and they're trying to share some knowledge, some information about some things for the benefit of people. But guaranteed, all such knowledge is incomplete. Guaranteed. Why? Because complete knowledge must involve knowledge of God. There's no question about that. Complete knowledge must include knowledge of God. So whatever a person may be researching and figuring out in this world that passes as knowledge cannot be complete knowledge. Complete knowledge entails knowing two things. Janmadi asyayataha. It involves knowing everything in existence and the source of everything in existence. Only then is that knowledge complete. You can know anything about this world, great information. It is only complete when it is connected with the source, God. There is no question of human perfection without hearing from God. No question of human perfection. Maybe sometimes you hear somebody claiming to be guru or somebody approving someone as guru. But if that person does not hear from Krishna, accept Krishna, and promote the knowledge about Krishna, there is no possibility of that person being an actual guru. No question about it. You might be able to save some dirt, save the soil, but you can't save souls. There's no question of being able to deliver anyone without hearing from God. So we're going to look at how Krishna conveys this most important information of the Gita in the Gita itself, and how without this information we cannot attain perfection, and with this information we can perfect our life. But before we go to identifying some of these points, let us take a little look at what Krishna says about the Gita itself, the information of the Gita that he is giving. As Krishna spoke about knowledge of the soul and the body in the second chapter, then it's important that we have to perform activities, because people are acting in this world, and every action is performed produces a reaction. So Krishna says in the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that a person who performs his work in full knowledge of him will become free from bondage. In full knowledge of him, and with the results surrendered unto him. But so far, Krishna had not given information about himself. Therefore, Krishna opens. And furthermore, there's a little bit more on that third chapter. That's where Krishna says, Ye me matang idang nityam, 330 thereabout. Krishna says, Ye me matang idang nityam anutishtanti manava. That my instructions are eternal, and it is meant to be followed by human beings. So if this information is so important, now Krishna opens up in the fourth chapter with the history of this information. That's where he says, I first gave the knowledge to the sun god Vivashvan. He gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. Why? Because the kings are meant to see that the citizens become perfect, that they perform their prescribed duty. That's the business or the duty of the kings, because they are meant to be representatives of God. Krishna says, Naranam chan naradhipam, among men I am the monarch. So the king is supposed to be the representative of the Lord. So to represent the Lord means to represent what the Lord himself has given. So Krishna is giving the knowledge to those who are ruling the society. And then he gave the information, the mechanism, parampara, that it is handed down from one person to another, coming down in disciplic succession. Then Krishna makes a very important point about this transcendental knowledge. Sevayam mayatedya yoga prokta puratana bhakto sime sakhacheti rahasyam yetaritamam. He says that relationship between the soul and the supreme, he said that that's a transcendental mystery. That's no ordinary thing that you could just do some research here and there and find out that. How are you going to know the supreme? You may know some things about yourself. You can look into the mirror. At least you'll know something about your body. You know something. But to know about yourself and the relationship with the supreme, who we come from, what is the intended purpose of our existence. So Krishna says, Arjuna, I'm revealing that to you. Why? Very important. Why does the whole world not know? Srila Prabhupada said it. The whole world is saying they're doing research. They want to find God. They want to find the Supreme. Prabhupada said, rascal, God is here canvassing. He's saying, here I am. And you are researching. What are you researching? Krishna is declaring, here I am. So he tells Arjun, Bhakto sime sakachiti, because you're my devotee. And Sakha, you're Bhakta and you're my Sakha. You're my devotee and you're my friend. Therefore, you can understand the transcendental mystery of this science. So Bhagavad Gita is no cheap and common information that somebody will just squeeze out by his own high IQ. No, not at all. So Arjuna wanted to know, Krishna, what is this? What do you really mean by that you first give knowledge to the sun god Vivashvan? You are my contemporary. You were born just the other day in Kamsa's prison. So what is this thing about you gave knowledge to sun god Ado in the beginning, you said? What is this? And Krishna said, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjan. Arjun, you and I, we have appeared many times. But the problem is, I could remember all of this, but you cannot. You cannot. As the Supreme Lord, I know everything. And dear Krishna goes on to reveal very, very confidential, very important information about himself. Ajopi san navyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san. Aja, although I'm unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, although I'm the Lord of all beings, I appear in this world millennium after millennium. He comes. And he gave the reasons why he come. When there's decline in religion, rise in religion, I would come. What he would do? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam. He would destroy the miscreants and he'll protect the sadhus. And dharma samstapanartai. And he would reestablish the principles of dharma by which people can be enlightened, they can be elevated, they can be liberated. By that knowledge of his appearance and activities. Janma karma chame divyam, if you know my janma, my appearance, and my karma, my activities, in tatvataha. Not just, yeah, I know about Krishna, he was born in jail. No. Not that. Tattva Gyan is revealed by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. The truth about his identity, the truth about our identity, the truth about this world, the truth about these things. How are you going to know these things? It's only one way. To know things in truth, we have to hear from Krishna. So Krishna says, how are you going to know this truth? In this same chapter, Transcendental Knowledge, he says how you would know this truth. Chapter 434. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. You just try to learn the truth by approaching Guru. And we have the classic example right in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna confessed Karpangya dosha pahatasvabhava, prichami tvang dharma samudacheta. I am confused about my duty. I've lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I'm a disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. You please instruct me. This is the example for learning the truth. So Krishna, he says in 4:34, you try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master. But then he explains what, when you know that truth, what you're going to know. He says to Arjun, when you learn that truth, you would never fall again into this illusion. You'll never fall again into this illusion, thinking that me and my grandfather, me and my teacher, my cousin, my. Prabhupada defines in that purport what is Maya. To perceive yourself an existence separate from Krishna, that's Maya, that is illusion. If Krishna is not in the picture, guaranteed, it's Maya, it is illusion. So Krishna says, this knowledge of myself and the soul's relationship. He said, this knowledge is so good, even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners. When you have this knowledge, he said, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, the knowledge is compared to a boat. If you have to cross the ocean, you need a boat, a suitable boat. So Krishna said, when you are situated in this knowledge, you'll be able to cross over. But even if you're considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you have this knowledge, so what is this knowledge? This is the knowledge revealed in the Gita, that the souls are part of Krishna. This is what is glorious about the Krishna consciousness movement that has spread all over the world. It has enlightened people about their identity. You cannot know your identity without knowing your source. Can anybody establish their identity completely without information about their parents? Can anybody do so? So we cannot have any perfection without Krishna in the picture. No question about it. And as again we say, they claim to be guru and they don't hear and follow Bhagavad Gita. So you could save soil, you can't save souls. You can't get what God is saying. There's no deliverance without God in the picture. You could press your nose, you could stand on your head, you could turn and twist this way, that way. But the point is to get out of the cycle of repeated birth and death. We have to be enlightened, and that enlightenment, Krishna says, Tat Shrinu, you just hear from me. So this false ego element that has this whole material world going, where have we gotten this false identity from? I am this, and this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to do. Where have you got that false ego, that identity from, that you think that's what you are? Where have you gotten that from? That's part of Krishna's material creation. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. He says that the bewildered spirit souls in this world, they are under the influence of the three modes of material nature. So under the influence of the three modes of material nature, the soul is thinking, I am a body. That is the definition of Maya given in Bhagavad also. Yayasa mohita jiva atmanam trigunatmakam. When the jiva think he is a product of the material nature, the three gunas, that's called Maya. So who has created this Maya, this false ego? Krishna says in 7:13, Tribhir gunamair bhavairevhi sarvamidang jagat, the whole world, everybody, mohitang, moha, they're under this spell, this illusion. They don't know themselves, they don't know me. Mohitang nabijanati. So what is special about Bhagavad Gita is the person who owns this world and controls this Maya that is influencing us. He is inviting us. That is what is special about Bhagavad Gita. He is inviting us. He says, Daivihi esha gunamai mama maya duratya. 7:14, he says, this is my Maya, mama Maya. And mameva ye prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. He says, it is my Maya, it is duratya, it is very difficult to overcome. And the only way you can get out of this, mameva ye prapadyante, by surrendering unto me. There's no other way but by surrendering to him, by taking shelter of him. There is no other way. So Krishna's giving this knowledge, revealing this knowledge to the world. It is the Lord's mercy on the world, because we have turned away from him, and it is his mercy that he has come in the form of Bhagavad Gita, that he has come in the form of the holy name, that he comes in the form of sadhus, saintly persons. He comes in the deity form. It is by his mercy that he comes to interact with us, that we could take shelter of him. So we may focus on the holy name. We may focus on the deity form. But he's saying, Tatrinu, just hear from me. Very important. He's speaking to us. He wants us to hear from him. That is what is Bhagavad Gita. Dharamam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Real religion means that which is directly given by God. Anybody may have some good principles, some this, that, the other. But the laws of the government is absolute for everybody in the state to follow. So somebody may have some good this, that, the other. But Krishna say, Ye me matangidang nitya, my instructions are eternal and meant to be followed by human beings. That is absolute. And he warns, Ye shastra vidhimutsrijya, varatate kama karata. If you don't follow my instructions, Shastra Vidhi, if you don't follow, you will fall low. Yes. If we don't follow, he says, Adhoga Chanti Tamasa, we'll go down. We'll lose our identity. When you're journeying through 8,400,000 species, how much ID you'll be walking with, who you'll be producing ID to. So many species. You'll keep track. So to stay in connection with the Lord, the science of Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to see Krishna everywhere. He says, Yomang pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I'm never lost to him, nor is he ever lost to me. So Krishna says in the Gita about Pashyanti Jnana Chakshushaha, seeing through the eyes of knowledge. So he is the one who gives us that knowledge to see that we belong to him, to see that everything that we are in contact with, that we are in touch with in this world, it belongs to him. The laws that governs everything is created by him. So Bhagavad Gita is such sublime. Krishna says, Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyati. There's nothing as sublime and pure as this transcendental knowledge. So, on the occasion of Bhagavad Gita Jayanti, we can take the opportunity to rededicate ourselves, commit ourselves to being more in sync, in tune with Krishna and the information he is giving. It's not just theory, because he's telling us what to do in Bhagavad Gita. This is what it is all about. How to stay in our relationship with him. He says, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with priti, with love, dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give the understanding. Prabhupada would give the example. You have a bottle of honey. So you want to taste honey. Which side of this bottle you have to lick? Left side, right side, top, bottom. How are you going to taste the honey? The tasting comes by opening. You have to open the bottle. Only by opening the bottle, you will be able to taste the honey. The opening of the bottle, the secret of understanding the Gita is Krishna is saying to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, the Dami Buddhi, I'll give them the intelligence, I'll give them the understanding. He'll give. It's not something you can take you're bright, you went to UG, so you're smart, you know how to take it. No, that's not good enough. So Bhagavad Gita is such wonderful knowledge that Krishna declares it. I am telling you everything about this phenomenal world. Even granted you're bright, you're research, and you found a lot of things about this world, incomplete. Krishna says, I'll tell you everything about this world and everything about the source of it, myself. And knowing this, there shall be nothing further to be known. So the knowledge is only complete when it is understood in relation to Krishna. Only then there is perfection. No question of perfection independent of Krishna. Guaranteed. No perfection without knowing our relationship with him. Sometimes people think they're very bright. We know the secret is to do detached work. The secret of the Gita, to not get entangled, is you have to be detached from the result of your work. True? No. The secret is to know your relationship with Krishna, that everything belongs to Krishna, and we have to do everything in Krishna's service. Then he says, Aham twang sarva papibhyo, I'll free you from all sin. Ma shuchaha, have no fear. It is not just by yourself you're going to do detached work. No. Only when we know that we belong to Krishna and everything has to be done for him. That's the peace formula, 529. Srila Prabhupada distributed that information in a flyer. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam. Only when we know that Krishna is the real beneficiary of everything, all the yagya we are doing, all the tapa, the sacrifice we are making, when we know he is Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, he is the proprietor, Ishavasya, he is the owner and controller of all, everything. And when we know him to be the real friend and well-wisher, Suridam, Sarva Bhutanam, when we know him to be the DMO's friend, because people are claiming this, I am the well-wisher, I am the friend, I can save you, I can help you. Only when we know Krishna to be the DMO's well-wisher, Surida Sarva Dehinam. When we know him, he says, Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. Only when you know me as all these things, Shanti. Only then there'll be Shanti, peace. So Krishna told Arjuna, I'm telling you the most confidential part of all knowledge. So it is simply, Krishna says, Man mana bhava mad bhakta. You just always think of me, you become my devotee, you worship me, and prati jane prayosimi. I promise you that you will come back to me. I promise you. So that's the secret. That's the confidential instruction that Krishna is giving to us. And for Gita Jayanti, we can rededicate ourselves to cultivating this knowledge, living by Krishna's instruction, and this way we can perfect our life. So we can stop here and we can, if there are some questions, we can have some, if there are any points for discussion, we can discuss a bit. Anybody, anything?
Krishna, thank you very much for sharing those wonderful points. I just One question I was thinking about as you are mentioning from chapter 3 that how Krishna mentions that the souls are bewildered by my energy, Maya, Mama Maya. So, like when you think about Maya, the external potency of the Lord, many times we see that it's like we are being punished by our Maya is always there to take us further away from Krishna. So is it that Maya also can help us, or always Maya will try to trick us or take us away from Krishna, or like divert our attention? How do we understand like the full thing about Maya?
Maya is actually a pure devotee of Krishna. She is the Lord's confidential devotee and servant. So when we desire to please Krishna, to serve Krishna, then Maya may test us, but her test is also the Lord's mercy. Her test is like you go to school and then you have some tests to be promoted to go to the next level. So that test is desirable and it is good. So Maya's creating this world is to facilitate us, give us the opportunity. So those who have the perverse mentality of exploiting, for them, Maya will entangle them further. But for the devotee who desires to serve and please Krishna, her elements and her facility is there for us, for utilizing. So it is not like Maya is an evil force that is, Maya is the Lord's confidential devotee, and the purpose is ultimately for us to please Krishna, to serve Krishna. So we can get that help from Maya also. If we desire to get out, then the material energy functions in that way, will give us that release.
Thank you very much, Rajarshi Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I was thinking that if there are some ideas or some of the things that we can do in a practical way in celebrating or observing Gita Jayanti.
Yeah, sure. At least I could tell you what we are doing from many weeks now. We are daily reciting a chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day. At the temple, every Sunday, with the congregation, we are reciting a chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Also, very inspiring is that there is the Gita Mahatmya that we used to read the glories of chapter 1, and then we would recite chapter 1, glories of chapter 2, and then recite chapter 2. So the devotees the Mahatmya, it's not very long pastimes. They're not very long. So devotees can actually, we are planning that, just before Gita Jayanti, not along with the chapters, but just the Gita Mahatmya, the glories of the 18 chapters. Read it out. They're very wonderful stories about, the glories. So those are practical things you can do. And devotees, we have daily classes that we together every day we are doing, but if devotees could still, make some little amount of time and come together and read together, read some Gita together and like that. So yeah, these are practical things that reciting some Gita, reading some Gita every day. It doesn't take, if some devotees decide from now we're going to read out the whole Bhagavad Gita, just the translations, then that's so exciting that you can read out the whole Bhagavad Gita and get a flow of the Gita. That's such a sweet thing to do. We do that many times. Yeah. Just read out the Gita. Yeah. So these are some practical things the devotees can do, and you get some you actually get real inspiration when you do like that. Krishna reciprocates. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Rajarshi Prabhu. It's always wonderful to be in your association. I enjoyed this class this morning, especially when you said that no knowledge is complete until one knows Krishna or God. And the other part I take note of is that we can save soil, but we cannot save soul. When we were speaking of accepting one's approved guru. So I just want to commend you on for that thought. We can save soul but not soul, and no knowledge is complete without knowing Krishna or God. So is it that I'm a graduate from the university, I'm a professor, and I know about saving this world in climate change and all of this research I did? So is it that my knowledge is incomplete even though I don't know who is God?
Yes, Sanjaya Prabhu, that's the idea that anything we research in the realm of Maya, it's limited, conditioned knowledge. So the knowledge to liberate the soul from this world is that which comes from God Himself. And that knowledge is teaching us how to surrender. And Krishna is not ambiguous about it. He said there's one way out. Mameva ye prapadyante. Only by surrendering on to me, mayam etam tarantite, we can get out of this maya. So yes, people are trying to do welfare work. They're trying to do good for others. You might try to save the dress of a drowning man. Whether you're able to save it, that is a different thing. But the souls are eternal. They want eternal happiness. They want to be in their eternal element. So the process given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Para Upakar, the highest welfare work. The highest welfare work. So we need to have clear perception. As Krishna said, Arjun, when you learn the truth from a guru, you will know that all beings are but part of me, or in other words, they are mine. That's the mission, that's our mission. To teach people where they belong, to who they belong, and how to be reinstated there. That's our mission. So there is no alternative. All kinds of so-called perfection it's incomplete until and unless you take the souls back to Krishna. Only when they are reinstated in their relationship with Krishna will they be happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Anybody
Krishna.
have?
One final question for me, Rajesh Prabhu. I was thinking that what it will take from anyone, any individuals or individuals to have this level of conviction or faith in the teachings or the messages of Bhagavad Gita.
It's kind of practical. You read the 3rd verse of the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna says in that verse, Ashraradhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Prapya Mang Nivartante Mrityu Sangsara Vartmani. Those who are not faithful in this process, he says, Mrityu Sangsar, they return to the cycle of birth and death. So Srila Prabhupada, he says in his purport, faith is the most important factor for progressing in spiritual life. And then he says, faith is created by association with devotees. Now we have practical example of that in our own lives, but look on a broader scale how Prabhupada came to New York City, how people associated with him, they heard from him, the conviction they developed. As individuals, we came around, and by continuously associating with devotees and hearing from devotees, gradually, as our faith increased, we were able to give up vices, give up bad habits, bad practices, adopt positive practices. Devotees have some experience of that in their own life. So Prabhupada's point about faith is created by association with devotees, that's very, very tangible. That's a tangible thing. The more we associate with devotees, and associate means that, as Krishna say, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service. They derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So faith means that. Srila Prabhupada has given us such a wonderful thing, the association of devotees. Nothing as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I know no suffering as being without the association of devotees. So to have the company of devotees in this world, that's something that is, you know, the Lord's mercy on us. So faith, people can develop faith, come together, talk more about Krishna, read more. The more we read Krishna's instructions, then, yeah.
A little clarification there.
We have,
Adiba?
yes.
Yes, Rajesh Prabhu, a little clarification. You said that the association of devotees, and you describe it as being something, extraordinary or special, according to even quoting Mahaprabhu. But on our level, we saw so many times that when we come together in the association, we tend to develop so many differences or animosity and lead maybe to dislike of one another. How would you explain that? Or, this level to what you would have described just now?
Some years ago, Kratu Prabhu was there for your temple opening and so on. And Kratu Prabhu made a point in a class that he gave here in Trinidad. He said, he was speaking about taking advantage of the association of devotees. He said, if we just come together and we do the things that Prabhupada wants, like read Bhagavad Gita together, chant the holy names together, these things, we come together, and that plugging in together, we increase, we advance in spiritual life. The negative side that you mention about, if we don't sufficiently do what constitutes sadhu sangha, the hearing Hari Nam and Hari Katha and so on, if we don't sufficiently do that, then other things may take precedence. Our mind may delude us. We may deliberate on people's imperfections. Kali Yuga is an ocean of fault. So, we can all be graduates, in fault finding. But the idea is that if we come together and we do these positive things together in the company of devotees, it has amazing effect. We have experience of that, devotees coming together every day in class, and devotees just learn to appreciate the participation of people. They just appreciate each other's participation. So we focus on the positive side, as Kratu Prabhu said. Come and create the nice, strong sadhu sangha just by our participation, and let the Krishna Katha or the holy names prevail. The fault finding and all of that will gradually fall away. We'll lose our envy, and all the non-Krishna conscious things will get minimized.
Hare Krishna. So, thank you very much once again, Raj Prabhu, for being with us this morning and for sharing your realizations and for encouraging us to dive deeper into Bhagavad Gita in trying to understand, in trying to take advantage of the knowledge given to us by Krishna and also our Guru Parampara. And also thank you for so nicely helping us to understand or clear up different doubts, the questions that we would have asked. So we will be moving on with Artik or midday Artik ceremony. So for those of you who are on Zoom, you can stay on for darshan and also for the kirtan if you don't have to leave urgently. For us who are here, we can all please stand and come forward to participate in the Artik ceremony with Lordship Shri Paramakaranitai Gaurachandra. Jaya Paramakaruna Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra Jaya Paramakaruna Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra.
Jaya Parama Karuna Nitai Gaura Chandra Jaya. Jaya Shishi Parama Karuna Nitai Gaura Chandra Bhagwan Ki Jai. Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashtata Dishatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Jaya Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody loudly. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopa Govindaram Shri Madhusudan. Shri Gopa Govindaram Shri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Hari Guru Vaishnav Bhagavad Gita. Hari Guru Vaishnav Bhagavad Gita.
Shri Rupa Shri Sanatan Bata Raghunath.
Sanatana Bhattaraguna Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasaraguna
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Parama Karuna Nitai Gora Chandra, Parama Karuna Nitai Gora Chandra. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol.
Jai Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajakacha Shtutara Sadashishimad. His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON VBT founder Acharya is Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajakacha Shtutara Sadashishimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Thakur Ki Jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namachar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद सर्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंज राधा कुंज गिर गोवृंद की जय। श्री मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री पौष्टम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगामाय जमुनामाय की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रीमती तुलसीदेव महारानी की जय। श्री गुरुधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेशनल बुक्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। बृहत् मृदंग की जय। श्री परमकर्ताय गौर चंद्र की जय। सामवेद गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembly of devotees. All glories to the assembly of devotees. All glories to the assembly of devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pachadini. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashchari Shatarini.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladaladarayine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shrilatanka Nakhalaye. Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha. Yato yato yami tato Nrsimha. Bahe Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha. Narasingha Madim Sharanam Prapade. Tava Kara Kamala Varena Kamadbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tano Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tano Bringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
Jaya Nrsimhadev 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 Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Shri Shri Nrsimha Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today physically and virtually also for Sunday Love Feast. And please keep in mind that Gita Jayanti will be on the 3rd of December. I think Saturday the 3rd of December. It's also Ekadashi. The reason why we're telling you that this early is because you can keep in mind, we can start, as Rajarshi Prabhu was mentioning, we can start reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita on our own, whether we want to read the translations, but all of the translations alone, or you want to read chapter by chapter, we can start that, building up to Gita Jayanti, and it will be a nice thing to get our mood going for Gita Jayanti. And we can also start sponsoring Gitas, meaning we can take some Bhagavad Gitas and share them out, give it to someone who we think might need Bhagavad Gita. You may have read Bhagavad Gita and find it really helpful, or read part of it at least and found it helpful. So you can also help someone else by sharing Bhagavad Gita and giving them. Or you can sponsor some Bhagavad Gitas and the temple can give it on behalf of yourself. So thank you once again for joining us for Sunday Love Feast. Please take prasadam to your fullest satisfaction, and you can now make your way downstairs for prasad. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.